Welcome to Shifted. If you're a teacher, instructional coach, or school leader looking for practical ways to strengthen instruction, you're in the right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Georgia's Mastery Guide and learning how to use it as a complete lesson planning tool.
At first glance, this looks like another standards document, but it's much more than that. The Georgia Mastery Guide doesn't just tell you what students should learn. It tells you how to teach the standard effectively. Every standard includes the intent of the standard, grade level expectations, important vocabulary, instructional strategies, sample teacher prompts, expected student responses, and evidence of student learning. Instead of wondering, how do I teach this, or what questions should I ask? Much of that work has already been done for you. The guide provides examples of what effective instruction can sound like and what student mastery should actually look like. That's what makes it such a powerful planning tool. Every great lesson starts with one question: what should students know and be able to do by the end of today's lesson? That's your learning target. Instead of starting with activities, start with the standard, read the overview to understand the purpose, unpack the grade level expectations into teachable skills, and identify the key vocabulary students will need. Then write a clear, student-friendly statement that begins with "I can" and focuses on what students will actually learn, not just what they'll do. A strong learning target becomes the destination for your lesson, helping you plan instruction with purpose and giving students a clear understanding of what success looks like. Once you've written your learning target, the next step is identifying what success looks like. Success criteria describe the specific evidence that students have mastered the learning target. Start by looking at the grade level expectations to identify the skills students need to demonstrate. Then review the instructional strategies to determine what students will say, write, create, or do during the lesson. Finally, turn those skills into clear, student-friendly statements that begin with, "I will know I am successful when I can." The best success criteria are observable, measurable, and directly aligned to the learning target. When students know exactly what success looks like, they're better equipped to monitor their own progress and take ownership of their learning. Once you have your learning target and success criteria, the next step is planning the learning experiences that will help students achieve them. Don't start by asking, what activities should I do? Instead, ask, what experiences will move students from introduction to mastery? The instructional strategies section of the standard is your roadmap. It provides research-based ideas for teaching the content while keeping students actively engaged. Choose the strategies that best align with your learning target, your students' needs, and the time you have available. Then organize those strategies into a gradual instructional sequence. Begin with teacher modeling, where you explicitly introduce the concept, think aloud, and demonstrate the skill. Next, move into guided practice, where students try the skill with your support and immediate feedback. Then provide collaborative practice, allowing students to apply their learning with peers through discussion, problem solving, or shared tasks. After that, students transition to independent practice, where they demonstrate mastery on their own. Finally, end with reflection, giving students an opportunity to think about what they learned, evaluate their progress, and identify their next steps. When your instruction intentionally moves students through this progression, every part of the lesson supports the learning target and increases the likelihood that students will achieve success. The next step is planning your checks for understanding. These are intentional opportunities to gather evidence of student learning while instruction is happening, not just at the end of the lesson. Begin by reviewing the evidence of student learning section of the standard. It provides sample teacher prompts and the types of student responses you should expect if students are on track. As you ask targeted questions, listen carefully to what students say, write, or demonstrate. Their responses tell you whether they're ready to move forward or whether they need additional support. Use that evidence to make instructional decisions in real time, reteach a concept, clarify a misconception, extend the learning, or continue to the next part of the lesson. Effective teachers don't wait until the assessment to find out if students learned. They check for understanding throughout the lesson and adjust instruction accordingly. Rigor isn't about giving students harder work. It's about asking them to think more deeply about what they're learning. The Mastery Guide helps you increase rigor by moving beyond simple recall to analysis, evaluation, and creation. Start with the expectations to identify the level of thinking students should reach. Then intentionally teach and reinforce the academic vocabulary students need to express their thinking. Next, select instructional strategies that require students to explain, compare, justify, solve problems, and apply their learning in meaningful ways. Finally, provide extension opportunities for students who are ready to go deeper by creating, researching, debating, or designing something new. As you plan your lesson, think about how students will progress from identifying information to explaining it, applying it, analyzing it, evaluating it, and ultimately creating with it. When instruction follows this progression, students move beyond memorizing facts to developing true understanding and mastery. And that's the entire planning process. Instead of wondering where to begin, you now have a clear roadmap for building purposeful, standards-aligned instruction. Start with the standard and understand the big idea. Break it into expectations, identify the key vocabulary, and write a clear learning target. Define success criteria so students know what mastery looks like. Plan engaging instruction, build in meaningful checks for understanding, and end with an exit ticket that tells you what students learned. Finally, increase rigor by providing opportunities for students to think deeply, apply their learning, and extend their understanding. When you follow this process, you're not just planning lessons, you're designing learning experiences that lead students to mastery. Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you found this helpful, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow @EducatorHobbs for practical strategies, instructional coaching tips, and classroom resources that help educators grow. I'll see you in the next video.